So that actually means that Gerry has to cut down Gary. Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Brian, and today I'm flying solo talking about The Golden Bachelor. This is episode 5. We find out right off the bat that there's actually only going to be 3 roses given out tonight. And since we're sitting at 6 women, that means he has to cut half. So Gerry has a very tough decision to make, and it actually shows later in the episode more on the group date, but I'll get there. Jesse tells the girls, he comes in, he says, "Hey, there's going to be an incredible one-on-one date. This is like an amazing moment. And then there's going to be a group date." So Faith actually gets the one-on-one date. And after this happens, Leslie gets a little upset later after she goes on the date. After Faith goes on the date, that she's a little worried, like, "Hey, like, how come that he picked for this amazing one-on-one date? What does that mean about me?" And I think Ellen also said the same thing in one of her confessionals as well, that they were like a little nervous, like, "Hey, what does this mean that this incredible date that Jesse's talking about and I wasn't chosen for it?" So an understandable feeling. I think all the women are having fun. They're waiting in a pool and they actually go on a helicopter ride. So Faith tells Gerry that she's afraid of heights. So he's like, "Hey, take the risk. This is going to be worth it." They go up into the helicopter, and of course, they fly right near the villa. They act like they're waving to the other women that are down there. The women act like they're waving to them. Then actually, they actually tap a little below deck, and they land on a yacht. And there, Faith and Gerry kind of connect. They talk about like some of their things in their life. Faith talks about how she had like kind of a tough upbringing, and that her success, she worked really hard to get to where she is today. And of course, Gerry gives her the rose. And after that, they go into the hot tub on the yacht and start kissing. So he's at it again. Now we just, because of this hour episode, we just kind of fly right into things. So we go right to the group date. So the group date, obviously, because there's only 5 women remaining, is Leslie, Ellen, Teresa, Sandra, and Susan. And they actually go to the St. Monica Pier, and Gerry tells him that he wants to let out his inner child. So they go on like some rides, they play some like carnival games like whack-a-mole, they eat some cotton candy, just doing like things that you would do like when you're 16 or 17 years old, like on a boardwalk with like somebody, your girlfriend or somebody you met at the beach, and they just have a little fun. And they like, he gets to open up with all these women. Teresa tells him that she is falling in love with him, and she says in a confessional that she hasn't said that to any man in 52 years since her previous husband. So I mean, these are big moments that some of these women are actually admitting to him that they're falling in love with him, they're crazy about him, like. And as we see later, and like what I said in the top of the episode, is Gerry had a really tough decision with handing out the rose. And normally in these situations, like, you would give out a rose in the group date. And he actually didn't this time. He said he wanted to sit on it and think about it, just even if it's just a day later, just that time to think. Because really, the women that it comes down to there are left. So Faith has her one-on-one rose. So it would be between, since there's only 2 roses left, it's between Ellen, Leslie, and Teresa. So I mean, he does have a really tough decision to make. I didn't talk about Leslie about on their group date or the mini date inside the group. Gerry lets her know that he has bruises in spots that he never thought he could get them from their one-on-one date last week. So he opens up with some humor. She tells him that she's crazy about him. He actually calls her his girl when they hug at one moment. So at that point, I kind of was thinking that she was going to get the group date rose, but like I said a couple of minutes ago, that he didn't give one out. So, but in my mind, like, she was the second one. So really, when I was going into this group, the final the rose ceremony, it was really between Teresa and Ellen. And the thing about I like about the show is, like, you can tell that like he really gets worked up, and he like actually cares about the decision he's making, because these are tough decisions. He doesn't want to like upset anybody. He actually has feelings for all of these women, and he always is like teary-eyed, and it like kind of makes me feel that this is like he's being super genuine, and it's a tough decision for him, especially because like Ellen and Teresa, the 2 remaining, that if you think that Leslie, by calling her his girl, is not in it, but like, it really, Susan, and like, we like Susan, we like Sandra. They I think they knew, just based off of the rose ceremony reactions, that it wasn't between them, and they're happy. Like, they all had nice things to say. So rose ceremony. I know I'm jumping around here. When I'm by myself, I'm kind of like all over the place. I don't have like the Bill and I like feed off each other. So sorry about that. But the rose ceremony. He chooses Leslie first. So, like I said, he called her his girl. Kind of felt like Leslie was going to get a rose. And then he chooses Teresa. So that means that Ellen, Susan, and Sandra are eliminated. And he says goodbye to Sandra, like seemed totally fine. He says like super happy to meet you. Like all the walkouts and saying goodbye, like there doesn't seem like there's any hard feelings. Like they all want the best for each other, which is kind of another reason why like it's this show seemed pretty genuine. He actually kisses Susan on the way out. They both kiss. She walks out, says goodbye. He actually walks Ellen out to the car. And this is where he talks to her for a minute, tells her that this was a really tough decision. Like she eventually is just like, I need to get up because she's obviously very upset. And then when she actually gets in the car, she has nothing but nice things to say about him. So like it just shows that like I feel like if this was like a one of the regular main series, like that people would be crying, pretty upset. Like she's obviously very upset, but like they could say some nasty things on the way out. But it's just nice to see that it didn't happen. So next week is the hometowns, and he has three women that he's going to. So he has Leslie, Teresa, and Faith. Based off the preview, I couldn't really tell who was the people he was talking to, who what family was which family. But it looks like I wrote down the next week may kill him when he has to keep making these harder and harder decisions. So we know that blow up is coming where he gets super sad and like he says like I can't do this anymore. So it's either going to be next week or the following week. I'm torn though. Like I thought he actually had a really good one on one with Faith tonight, and he actually had a really good connection with Leslie. So like I don't know where this is going to go, and let us know in the comments below. Like who do you think he's leaning towards? Like who do you think maybe I'm assuming they're going to go final two here, but like they could change the format just based off of how they dropped somebody off the hometowns. But I am not up to speed on what how many episodes are left. It's definitely two, maybe three if there's a reunion. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, let us know what you think, who he's going to choose, how you feel about the people he sent home, and anything else. So I appreciate you watching. We will be back later tonight with Southern Charm or House of Villains. One of those will be released later this evening. So Bill will be on for that. Brett will be on for that. So we will see you later tonight. Thanks for watching.